Hello and welcome to A Tribe Called Cars. My name is Griffin, and today we're going to be looking at 5 things I have learned since starting YouTube a year ago. Now, the first thing I have noticed about YouTube is that it is incredibly difficult to psych yourself up for a video.
This is Sparta!
This is something that people don't really kind of see happening or understand unless you try and make videos for a living. But ultimately, you want to be in a good mood. You want to be happy, excited, or smiley, or you want to be passionate when you're talking about something. And none of these things are easy if you are having a bad day, or you're tired, didn't sleep well, haven't eaten well, or a million other things. Ultimately, you have to be in the right frame of mind, or you have to learn how to get yourself into that frame of mind. And if you're not in that, that's very difficult. You need to sort of visualize, why am I doing this? What is the point of the video? Why am I sitting here talking to a camera when I could be, I don't know, playing No Man's Sky or outside, going for a date, whatever it is. I mean, that's assuming you can get a date. But yeah, anyway. So that for me is something that I have noticed that is very, very difficult sometimes, especially when you're a small YouTuber. If you can see this giant number coming in from ad revenue and sponsorship and stuff, then it's probably a little easier. But for someone with 1,270 subs at the time of making this, let's just say I'm not going to retire or buy baked beans. So for now, I can see why a lot of YouTubers said the first 1,000 is the hardest, because you really are banking on being successful or making something of this, but without any sort of proof of that. So yeah, getting in the frame of mind to do a video and also disciplining yourself. That is another very difficult thing, because there are so many things you can do instead. And then there's also the fear of being on camera. To the top of the crater. And it is windy. There's procrastination, not what you're thinking. That is not what I said. Okay. Number 2, thumbnails. Now these are a bit of a dark art, because there are so many ways to skin a cat, as we say in English. In fact, we have a lot of phrases with cat in a hot tin roof. Anyway, I digress. Thumbnails are very important, because when you're scrolling on the bar on YouTube, it is a thing that grabs your eye. So a big part of YouTube is a subscriber count, because if you have a good subscriber count, chances are they will come and watch your videos. But if you are just browsing for something else, or a video ends and there's a choice of different videos to watch, or whatever it is, a good thumbnail might create intrigue. It will catch your eye. It's designed to make you click the video, and if it does that, obviously you're getting more hits. And if you're getting more hits, your subscriber count could grow more quickly, so it's a good thing. Of course, there are lots of ways you can do this. You can do the arrow trick, which I think is horrible, the red arrow, you know the one, and it's like, oh, you won't believe this. Sort of ultimate pictorial clickbait. Another one is using yellow or orange as a color that catches the eye. You can do this. It's actually quite a pretty color, well, depending on the shade. That's one way. Big text, another one. A lot of YouTubers also put their face in. This is something I don't do, but will be doing. I don't really want to, but again, it's an identifying thing that helps people know it's your video. And if they like one of your videos, they might want to stick around to watch other videos. So it makes sense to advertise and have consistency among all your videos if possible. Doesn't have to be your face, could be a font style, could be a color, could be the design scheme. There are many ways to do this. At the moment, because it's the early days for me, I've been trying lots of different things. Some work better than others, but it's quite hard to tell, because people have done tests with the same video, same time, 2 different thumbnails, and there were different results. So that obviously is a thing. But if you're only doing one video, you have no idea if that video with this thumbnail could have done better if you had done it like this, or you'd done another thumbnail, that kind of idea. So you're never quite entirely sure. What I will say that I'm going to do is find a design I like, and then all thumbnails will be that style, or at least have some sort of consistent things. At the moment, they're a little bit all over the shop. I think it's good to experiment early on, look at things, you know, over a longer period of time, and see how you feel about it. It's a bit like if you ever decorate a house, you put a color on the wall and you leave it so you can see it in daylight, nighttime, when you have a headache, when you're tired, the next day, the next week, whatever it is, because it gives your brain time to see if it actually likes it, or it's likely to like it for a long time. And I think thumbnails, and also the style of video and how you make them, these are things that you just sort of learn by trying. Number 3 is consistency. Now this one is one of the most difficult, probably the second most difficult actually. And that's because people need to know you have a video coming, or at least they need to know you have a particular style, or they're gonna get something from your video. And if they don't, then what is the point in watching it? If it's entertaining, that's great. If you learn something, that's great. If there's some sort of value from watching the video, then amazing. But that's not great for anyone if you only do one video a year, because yeah, fine, they might find that video incredibly useful and you might gain some subs, but that's gonna be a very long time before this becomes something that is successful, basically. So you want to do at least one video a week, I would say, or a month, depending on the scope of the video itself. If you're making like a Michael Bay explosion fest, then you're gonna need a little bit more time than if you're just vlogging to camera like this one. So ultimately, have a day that a video comes out, have a particular theme and a style. Just, again, some sort of consistency in everything you do, but particularly the release rate. And this is the thing I have been rubbish at, and in 2020, I am going to improve on, I promise. Now, number 4 is linked to number 3. This one is produce something over nothing. Sounds obvious, but for me, if a video isn't to a certain level, I'm not happy. It will annoy me, and then I think, nah, don't do it. If I can't get the video to the level I want, I don't bother. And that's so stupid, because yes, you're gonna get hate, and yes, not everyone's gonna like your style, or you, or your hair, or your nose. It's not the best, but it doesn't really matter, because you want to take a risk and you will never please everyone. That is just a fact. It doesn't matter how good you are, there will be people that dislike you in that moment, or you generally, or that video you made. But you're not going to grow if you don't experiment and try things. Put your neck out, you're going to get punched. And it's so true, but you won't gain any ground unless you take that risk. And of course, in doing that, you develop thicker skin. You get better with criticism. Some of it's actually useful. Sometimes people say things you hadn't noticed, you hadn't thought about. So it doesn't mean that it's going to be bad all the time. And in fact, you should value that. That sort of free consultancy. People are telling you, why don't you do this? Yeah, why don't I? That would be better. And of course, someone is going to say something mean, like, you look really short, you look really fat, and all that stuff. But you can delete it, you can ignore it, you can realize that chances are they're probably at home, bitter, angry, and maybe slightly jealous. But whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you are trying something and they're just commenting on your work. And that will always happen. But as soon as you get used to that, and I'm talking to myself here, not just you, the better things will be. And of course, the more videos you do and the better you get, the more your subscriber count is gonna go up. And number 5, this one is take a break. Now, I don't mean take a long break like I did. That is bad. No, Ben, stop doing that. But what I mean is, you've made a video and you're kind of happy with it. And there's this rush. It's the internet. It never stops, never sleeps. I need to put it out now. You don't. Well, unless you're being paid to, or you have a deadline and blah, blah, blah. But generally, if it's for you, can you wait an extra half hour or an hour? Because if you do, that can allow your brain to rest. And then you take a step back, and then when you look at it, you suddenly see things you hadn't thought of. Or for instance, if you get too bogged down with, say, color grading or the lighting, but actually, when all that's fine and you look back at the video, you're like, why did I say that? That was so stupid. Or why didn't I say this? Give yourself a little bit of time having finished something, even if it's writing the script, or it's how something looks, or the angles you've done it, or the order of the video. All these kind of things might not be better than you've done, but it's definitely worth thinking about it. It just gives you a fresh perspective. It's a bit like when you're a writer and you finish something, you change the font, because the brain is so used to seeing things that it misses mistakes. Just having that fresh perspective can make a huge difference. Definitely finish a video and step back, go for a walk. And it is windy. Or look at it with someone next to you, because that is horrible, that can be difficult. But if they make you really refine something and really question why you've done it, and you can argue with them saying, no, that is why I did it, then wonderful. And if it makes you change your direction a bit, or really clamp down on something to make sure no one can criticize it, or it's definitely right, or whatever, or it looks beautiful, the sound is perfect, then everyone benefits. And of course, the people watching are going to enjoy it more. And if they enjoy it more, then they are more likely to subscribe. And that brings me neatly to the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Last year, there were some cool videos. Said I'd do a couple of videos that I hadn't. I will still be doing them. I have not forgotten, okay? But ultimately, this year is a much more consistent thing. I really want to make a go of this. So there'll be this kind of video where I talk about the experience, or I talk about a particular element of filming, or I talk about car photography, and of course there'll be the game reviews, car reviews, and guides, how-tos, that kind of stuff. So anyway, thank you for watching. Take care, have a wonderful week. Goodbye.